Yeah. Wake up with coffee and sports. Sunrise glow, listen coast to coast. A flow like you know.
Offensively, who made them? Oh, Patrick Mahomes.
Sideline to sideline with plays to show. This network's got the spark.
When you put up 300 yards rushing against someone, that you got your butt whooped.
I feel like I would have liked to see Oregon Ohio State in the semis, not the quarters. So I think some reseeding is probably where I would change. But
they're out of their mind. They're going to do this 3 quarterbacks in a row.
Here's the crazy.
I just can't take it.
Birds keep flying high, fans cheering loud, and one podcast moving through the crowd. Meaty boys brawling, no holds barred loud. This wire life never in doubt. Tune into the vibe.
That's my bold prediction for the show. Devin Booker, in the next 3 years, he will be a Houston Rocket.
Because I still think Seth is still at the top of his game. I do. I think he's right there. Who knows? Maybe. Not this year, but one time soon. Why wouldn't we potentially see Seth and Roman?
Tune in the vibe. Good centers. Got me on the mic now, let's spill the tea. Talking courtside dreams from history. Legends on the blacktop now and then. From Will to Steph, we hit it again. Better chimes in, let's go deep. Young bloods rising, can't skip a beat. Puppy prospects with fire in their eyes. Draft night suckers and hoop dream highs. Wire to wire, bring the heat. Podcast magic can't be beat. Do better, we're go better. We're hoop heads, trendsetters.
What's poppin', y'all? It is your boy Gardi3, and welcome to the And One podcast. And of course, joining me, maybe the happiest guy in the room right now because his Niners are absolutely taking it to the Rams. He is Mo. How you doing, Mo?
I'm doing surprisingly well. This is not how I thought my Thursday night would go in terms of the NFL. I knew I was going to have a great night because you and I were going to chop it up on N1. So I was going to have a good night one way or another. But the fact that the Niners are playing well, I'm on a whole nother level right now.
Yeah, they're proving a lot of people wrong right now. They're absolutely balling. It's something, like I said, that I didn't see coming. That's for sure.
I didn't either. I'll be honest.
Say, fair enough. For how we get it rolling. Want to pick an underrated player of the week every week. We pick somebody. It could be a player, a coach, a team, and we like to give them their flowers. So, Mo, do you got an underrated player of the week this week?
Yes. My underrated player of the week is Shane Battier. I think Shane Battier, if you look back at his career, starting with his time in Duke, is the type of player that he's not a star. He's not going to be your second leading scorer, but he's the type of player that impacts winning. Whether he takes a charge, makes a big three, sets a pick, gets a critical rebound, or gets a great defensive stop. Shane Battier in his college and NBA career impacted winning. A terrific defender, clutch three-point shooter, just a good all-around guy to have on the floor with you and in your locker room. Consummate pro, Shane Battier. That's my guy.
You know what? That's a great one. I always love watching, Shane Battier. Overall, he's one of those role players that you just enjoy watching. Just a really good defender. He had great size at the forward position, could bang with some bigs. Just such a versatile player, and every team loved to have him. He made every team he went to a lot better. I'm going to use mine to give somebody their flowers because I think they absolutely deserve it. If you watch that Fever Aces game, which was absolutely nutty, the Fever should not have been in the game that long, nonetheless pushed them to overtime. I'm going to give my flowers to somebody from that game because that was a wild watch. The Fever, Kelsey Mitchell goes down with an injury. Aaliyah Boston picks up her 5th foul, and it really felt desperate from there. But, man, how about Odyssey Sims? She absolutely put the Fever on her back after that, and
Where did
she
that
was
come from?
bucket after bucket after bucket.
Yeah.
She kept them in the game. It's one of those things that the Fever may have lost, but after watching just how scrappy and fighting they were to the very end, like, my respect for them grew tenfold. That is just a group of warriors. And I could pick from a whole group of ladies from that team to be an underrated player of the week. Lexi Hull was fantastic. And just overall, there's a great team effort. Just one of the better defensive performances you'll see from a unit this year. But I'm going to tip my cap to Odyssey Sims, because if it wasn't for her scoring outburst in that game to keep them afloat, that game doesn't get to overtime. So I got to say, well done to the Indiana Fever for a great season and fighting through all the injuries.
That's a great choice. I honestly thought with the Kelsey Mitchell injury that the Fever were done and they wouldn't go away. And then Aaliyah Boston is in foul trouble, and she eventually obviously would foul out. But they were so relentless, so persistent, the competitive nature that they had as a team. And Odyssey Sims, for the second half of that game, looked like one of the best players in all the WNBA. Like, she was getting it in. It was just a great performance from them. I'm talking about from the second half of the season on, with everything they dealt with all the injuries. They didn't have their best players, a lot of their best players, and they still went into the postseason, and they didn't just go in or go out with the whimper. They had the aces with the best player in the league, Asia Wilson, on the ropes, and the aces had to pull it out. So shout out to the Fever, shout out to Odyssey Sims, shout out to the W, because so far their postseason has been really, really entertaining.
Yeah, I will say, wasn't a big fan of the officiating at times.
Agreed.
I think Aaliyah Boston got called for like 2 or 3 fouls, and I'm like, are we sure? Like, it's game 5 in the playoffs. Are we sure we want to call some ticky-tack fouls right now? But yeah, as I said, overall, it was a great You know what's funny, Mo? The league really needed that, because right before this, Nafissa Collier dropped an absolute scathing pipe bomb onto league management. And Mo, I don't think I've ever seen anybody just directly call out the commissioner like she did, straight up in the post-game press conference.
Right.
So it's just wild to me. What are your thoughts on the Nafissa Collier whole speech on Kathy and league management? Because there was some wild stuff said.
Look, I think Fee was speaking from her heart. I think she referenced the conversation that she and the commissioner had, her concerns, the questions he asked, and the commissioner's responses, which, look, if those were her actual responses, I'll say it again. I said it at the time when I first heard this. She should be fired or she should resign, because you can't have that person at the top of your league running and representing your league if that's how they truly feel about the players, if that's how they truly feel about how their relationship to the fans and the players is. It was, if it's true, she's not a leader and she should not be the commissioner. And I'm not saying Fee's, not telling the truth. I feel like she is. I think she's speaking about a real conversation. It was just stunning to hear the commissioner's response to her concerns. It was stunning to hear her say Caitlin Clark should be grateful for the platform the WNBA allows her to have. Like, I feel like in this important time in the league, when they're on the verge, Brett, right, where they're going to get out the red and actually start making money, doing their own thing with all these big deals that they've made, all this revenue that's going to be coming in, and they're closer to a lockout. than they are bracing for next season. And I think that's a lack of leadership at the top that we're even at this point. So I had no problem with anything Fee said. I just wish the commissioner, when she came out and I guess voiced her thoughts on what Fee said, I wish she would have answered some real questions and been a little bit more clear in her response, because her response was really vague. And when you're vague like that, to me, you add more credence to what the other person said.
Yeah, absolutely. And for if anybody didn't hear the conversation, right? This was the conversation that Collier said happened between her and Kathy. It was during the inaugural season of Unrivaled. She said, I sat across from Kathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league. Her response was, well, only losers complain about the refs, Collier said. Collier said her attitude, she also had a cavalier attitude towards the ongoing CBA negotiation and player salary, noting, we go to battle every day to protect a shield that doesn't value us. She said, I also asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Beckers, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little in their first 4 years. Her response was Caitlin should be grateful to make $16 million off the court, because without that platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. In that same conversation, she told me players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them. That's a mentality driving our league from the top. The league believes it succeeds despite its players, not because of them. Hey, what's going on, Keith?
What's that?
Like, I don't know what the worst part about that is, really, because, like, that whole, like, statement is bad coming from Kathy. Like, we can talk about I don't think only losers complain about the refs. Look, the refs have been a talking point of the W for years. They're not very good. And I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibility to, maybe train the officiating staff a little better. It's natural to want better refs. That, to me, that's the least wild part. But to say that Caitlin Clark would make nothing without the WNBA when she was driving like sellouts at Iowa. Who wants to watch Iowa basketball? Free Caitlin Clark? Nobody. Right? Like, Iowa basketball wasn't that big. And then Caitlin came along and started selling out arenas and got offered $5 million to go play ball in the Big Three if she wanted to. Like, Kathy is just absolutely in over her head. She's developed too big of an ego at this point, it feels like. And to me, the most damning thing about the entire thing is what you mentioned. Is her response. This is the exact response from the commissioner. I have the utmost respect for Nafisa Collier and for all players in the WNBA. Together, we have all worked tirelessly to transform this league. My focus remains on ensuring a bright future for the players and the WNBA, including collaborating on how we continue to elevate the game. I am disheartened by how Nafisa characterized our conversations and league leadership. But even when our perspectives differ, my commitment to the players and to this work will not waver. You know what she doesn't do at all in that statement? She doesn't deny anything.
Correct.
Like, what? Okay, you can say she, quote-unquote, mischaracterized that conversation. What was the conversation to a point that was the mischaracterization? Like, what were you saying? That statement to me came out and made it seem even worse. It was the most AI-generated response, and it just made her seem even worse. Kathy needs to go. Like, the fact that this came out, and this is the best she can do in a statement, it makes me believe that, yeah, this happened. She has to go. Because at the end of the day, what she seems to forget about are the players drive the revenue. Nobody comes to watch Kathy make decisions in the league office. Nobody's coming to watch everybody do paperwork. They're coming to see basketball. it's the players that drive the league. The players should be getting paid. They're the ones that should be, you should be thanking them. They shouldn't be on their knees thanking you. Like, nobody's coming to watch you in your league office taking phone calls and ordering DoorDash. So at the end of the day, Kathy just seems way in over her head. And to me, it's absolutely disappointing that the commissioner of the league feels that way. And she's got to go.
I think so. I think the W is in need of new leadership starting at the top. And like I said, it's such a critical time for the league right now that it feels like they're closer to a lockout. And you just hope it doesn't come to that. But on the morning show, Gene and I talked about this, and he brought up a good point. Who would benefit from the most should there be a lockout? It would be Unrivaled. They would benefit the most from it because they'd be the only game in town, and they'd be able to add more players to their already impressive talent pool. And so I get the argument that somebody would say that in a way you could say Fee is it's a conflict of interest because she represents the players, but she also has another league. And even though the league is a different style of basketball because it's 3-on-3, it is another league. It is another source of income for the players, especially should there be a lockout. So I think I find it interesting. I don't think Fee does anything without thinking things through. And I don't think that anything that she said about the commissioner wasn't without merit. I even think that the part where she said she talked about how the league could partner with Unrivaled. I'm sure she put that out there, and I have no doubt Kathy shot that down. I think Fee is looking out for the players, and I think she's a leader throughout the league, but she's also a businesswoman who, along with Stewie, have their own league. So I think it's complicated, but it's not complicated about the situation up top that they're in need of new leadership.
Absolutely. And they kind of better be careful because, like I said, Unrivaled's doing some great things. They just announced that they're going to be, bringing Unrivaled to Philly. And that's pretty big. Philly's a great sports town. There's a great crowd there for the Unrivaled announcement. So the fact it's funny to me that say Unrivaled is going to all these different places and they're growing their fan base, and it seems seemingly growing at a very quick pace, quicker than the W. So maybe it is in the best interest that they maybe work together and figure something out.
I agree. Oh, and hopefully they can.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, so Mo, I figure we're gonna have a little fun. We can do the same. Yeah, they're coming to Philly in January. I hope you enjoy that. Hey, if they come to Milwaukee, I know I'll get tickets.
No doubt.
So you know how it is, Mo. We're gonna do our tier list again this week. And I guess my question to you is, do you want to start with the East or the West?
Let's start with the East.
East, okay. Fair enough. Say hi, share screen. There we go. Okay. All right, perfect. Let me make sure. Okay, so here we go. We got our hey, what's going on, Kyle? We're gonna do the same thing that we did last week, and we're gonna tier off all these all the forwards in the NBA. I split them up to East and West to make everything a little bit easier. So I tried to put them all together, but doesn't seem like they're all next. Yeah, but that's okay. You know what? That's all right. So we're gonna start with the East, and why don't we just start with the we got the Pistons duo down here. Tobias Harris. Think he's gonna be I think the highest when we're talking about ranking Tobias Harris for this year, maybe like he's either a high level rotation. I think he's a high level rotation player. I'm struggling to jump to fringe all star, but I think he's either a rotation player or a high level rotation player.
I think he's a high level rotation player.
Alrighty, no, fair enough. In the same breath, we have Asur Thompson. He's interesting because his defense alone and passing almost put him into this high-level rotation player category, but his offense leaves quite a bit to be desired.
You know what? In hindsight, because when you look at it, because look, we're talking about Tobias Harris. What did he drop for the Pistons? 12, 13 points a game, 6 or 7 rebounds, which is nothing to sneeze at. Those are solid numbers. And I know he starts. I still think he's a rotation player. Maybe he should just be a rotation player, not a high-level rotation player.
You know what? I can agree with that. I feel like on a good day he can hit up here, but he's probably more consistently just a rotation player.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Like I said, he's so interesting because his elite defense and pass is a very good passer, and he's almost just like a rotation player. But if his offense takes a jump, then he's going to be up here for sure. But I'm not sure how much I can bet on Asur's offense jumping this year.
Yeah, I feel like he's definitely in the rotation. You know, he's an elite defender, but his offense it's a few beats beneath his brother's offense. So they're different in their skill sets, but I think Asur is a rotation player. I think that duo, they're rotation players.
All fair. You know what? Fair enough. I would agree with that. Like I said, I think Asur has a lot of potential. He's just got to figure out how to be a little more productive on the offensive end.
Great.
Of course, we got Scotty Barnes. Got a max contract a couple years ago. I guess I think he's interesting because I think the conversation with him starts at either high-level rotation player or do we think he's going to be a fringe all-star this year?
I think Scotty at worst is a fringe all-star. He might, and the only problem with Scotty Barnes is he might always be a fringe all-star. Really, really, really good. Like Jamal Murray is, or CJ when he was younger, right? But never an all-star. I think Scotty's definitely at least a fringe all-star.
Yeah, so I guess the real question too is do you think that he's going to make that all-star leap this year, like be a strong all-star, or should we think he's stick at fringe all-star this year?
Yeah, I'm going to say fringe. I don't like their roster. They have too many guys that do the same thing.
You know what? That's fair. Their roster is just really wonky. This one's a pretty fun one. Sam Hauser. I think he's just a rotation player. A very good one.
He is. Yeah.
His 3-point shooting almost, to me, puts him at a high-level rotation player. He's a very good offensive weapon, that's for sure.
He'll definitely get more playing time this season, so maybe his numbers do go up.
All right, here we go, Mo. This is PG8, Paul George.
Well, I mean, obviously he's more than a rotation player, but I don't think he's an all-star anymore. I mean, I think he's a fringe all-star. If he's healthy, I think he's a fringe all-star. Even if he's healthy, I don't think Paul George is going to be the Sixers' leading scorer or its second leading scorer. So I think he's a fringe all-star at best.
Oh, absolutely. I think he's still a productive player, but I definitely think that his days of being an all-star are over. Like a
Agreed.
strong all-star caliber player. I think he'll still have his nights. He'll still have some great flashes of being that player, but I think he's just not consistently going to be that guy anymore. Here we go, Mo. I think our first strong all-star, at least, Pascal Siakam.
I got Pascal as an all-star. I'm with you.
Fringe all NBA. That's gonna be a tough crowd to crack, but
He's going to
maybe.
get more opportunities this year with Halliburton out, but you also have to factor in how many easy opportunities he got because of Halliburton, right? I think Pascal's a terrific offensive player. Barring an injury, I'm confident that he's going to be an all-star. I don't want to get ahead of myself and say he's going to be all NBA.
Yeah, I think he could. I think he could end up in the fringe all NBA category, but I think his baskets are going to be a lot tougher with, with Hallie out. So you know what? I think strong all star is a great category for him. But this guy's interesting, Mo. This guy actually might be our first high level rotation player, OG Anunoby.
Oh, definitely high level rotation player.
Say-
I'll go you a step further. I think the Knicks front court, OG and Bridges, I think that's what they both are.
Yeah, you know what? I completely agree with that. It's interesting. So just to let everybody know, I'm using the ESPN depth charts that they have. So they have the front court for the Knicks being OG and Cat at the 4 and Mitchell Robinson starting. And they have Bridges at shooting guard.
I guess if you want to do it that way, but I don't think that's how the Knicks are going to do it. You're not. Maybe Mike Brown might want to start Mitchell Robinson. I wouldn't, because I think Mitchell Robinson is going to cause you a lot of spacing issues because he's limited in what he can do offensively for you. If he's not setting a pick and rim running, he's not doing anything else.
No, that's fair. I do have Cat over here because since I'm following that, but I think regardless, I think they're all in the same spot regardless of where they are anyway. So I think Bridges is here. He's a going to be a high level rotation player,
Right.
Has with a chance at fringe all star. I think Cat's just fringe all NBA this year, whether he's the center or the 4. I might as well just move him up there because this is where we had him for center. So
I'm good with that.
How about Aaron Nesmith?
Nesmith is definitely a high rotation player. I mean, there's no threat for him to make the All-Star. He would have to have a massive year that no one sees coming. And I'm a fan, but I think that what he excels at is being a 3-and-D guy. I think he'll stick to being that.
Hey, fair enough. I agree with that. That's exactly where I was thinking for him this entire time. Here we go. Michael Never Swing the Rock Porter. This is interesting. It's his first year away from Jokic, which is non-Jokic minutes in Denver were a disaster. I don't even know what, because I think it feels like he should be in high-level rotation player. Maybe he has a chance at fringe all-star. But if those non-Jokic minutes hold true, I don't know, he could very well just end up as a rotation player. But I think he's going to end up in one of these two categories, and I cannot figure out for the life of me which one.
I don't think he's going to be a fringe all-star for 2 reasons. One, his skill set is limited. He can't put on the floor. He can't create his own shot. And he's going to be playing for a Nets team that's not going to be very good. So, if you want to say if he averages 18 points a game and 7 rebounds, you can make the argument that he's on a winning team and he helped them be that. He's not going to be on a winning team. He would need to be much better than what he's going to be an all-star. I think what he is a high rotation player, high-level rotation player. He's at the mercy of if Cam Thomas is going to even pass the ball. So,
Cam Thomas was still really funny. I love the Cam Thomas defenders because they're they're big. One of their biggest arguments as to why he's a great playmaker is always he doesn't turn the ball over, and my response is always, well, he needs to pass the ball in order to turn it over. So
He
Cam
does
Thomas,
have, partner, you're making a great point. Yes, Cam Thomas does not turn the ball over a lot. That's because he shoots all the damn time. You're not going to turn the ball over if you ain't looking to if you're looking to pass a rock, and he's not looking to pass a rock.
honestly, though, I respect it. Look, I think we need more gunners in the league. Those guys that just are fearless at shooting the basketball. We all growing up had our favorite gunner to watch. Like mine was J.R. Smith. Just he was shooting everything, and I think that's what made him so much fun to watch.
I remember J.R. Smith. That's a good one.
Mo, I think we got our first All-NBA guy right here because I'm very confident that Evan Mobley sneaks onto the third team. Maybe that's fringe All-NBA, but I think he could very well be a strong All-NBA caliber player. I am very high on Evan Mobley.
I think he's going to be all NBA. The only question ultimately with him will be, will he be on the first or second team? But I definitely think Evan Mobley's going to be all NBA. Got no problem with that at all.
So, yeah, and I think he's one of those guys that even if he's not on the second team, he's going to be a no doubt about it for the third team. This is a guy whose defensive game is already at a defensive player of the year level, and his offense just seemingly gets better every year. And I think this is a year that he takes that leap into strong, he's going to be an all-NBA player. I'm very confident. I'm buying the crap out of Evan Mobley stocks this year.
I'm buying his stocks because I believe if Cleveland is going to take that next leap, if they're going to break through and go to an NBA Finals, Donovan Mitchell, he will be their leading scorer, but Evan Mobley has to take another leap in his development for them to go to the next level, and I think he will.
Absolutely. Miles Bridges. I guess it's really. Do you think he's done enough for high-level rotation player?
So here's the thing about Bridges. You know this. The guy can score the basketball. You're looking at a guy that's going to give you anywhere between 18 and 20 a night, like 6 or 7 boards. But he's scoring the basketball on a really bad team. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to value him because I don't know if Miles Bridges impacts winning. I know he can put up numbers on a bad team, but somebody always puts up number on a bad team. So the best we could give him is high-level rotation player. Even though his talent says he's more than that, I can't give him more than that because his team's results say he's not more than that.
Miles is interesting because something like screams he should be able to play off of better players.
Right.
But at the same time, he's like weirdly not a great three-point shooter. Like he's great at slashing, he's great at attacking the basket, but he's not necessarily the most consistent shooter. Like if you let him get going downhill, it's fine, but I don't know. Like there's just I like keeping him at a high-level rotation player. I think he can play at the level of like a fringe all-star, but for me, it all starts with that jump shot. Like, he's got to be better when he's not just attacking the basket. I think the potential is there, but at this point, only he can reach it, and time will tell if he can.
You just gave me a good idea, and you're going to be able to appreciate this because you're a Bucks fan, but this is a better way to grade him out. Replace Kyle Kuzma with Miles Bridges, and what would Miles Bridges bring to the Bucks that Kyle Kuzma doesn't?
Think he's more efficient than Kuzma, but he's probably maybe a slightly better defender than Kuzma. I think he's a better defender than Kuzma.
He's certainly a better athlete, and
yeah.
he's a physically bigger man. Like if you've ever really seen Miles Bridges, he's put together. Like he's got the game of a 3, but I can see where you could play him at the 4 in certain lineups if you need to. What I'm saying is, though, put him on a good team like the Bucks. I still think he would be a good player. I'm not trying to denigrate him. I'm just saying I think his ceiling, like everybody's got a different ceiling. On a really good team, on a contender, I think he's a good player. I think he can start for a contender, but on a contender, he's not your first or second leading scorer. He's probably your third leading scorer.
I don't know if anybody can top Kuzma in that category. At least he's got that going for him.
But is that good dressing? Because I know he wears a lot of different things, but is that good? Is that good? Like,
oh, it's like his jump shot. It's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, the way Kuzma dresses like an anime character. I don't know.
Yeah, he's somebody that we talked about earlier, Mo. And I said this guy has all-star potential. And you agreed with me on this. But this is talking about this year. So I guess the real question is, Matas Buzelis. Last year, I think he floated between rotation player and high-level rotation player. Do you think that this year he's a consistent, like, high-level rotation player? Maybe
I do. I think this kid is going to be one of those guys, Brett, that every year you're going to see him further in his development. He might not go like a rocket ship like other guys do, but I think he's going to be better. I think he's going to come close to averaging a double-double. This kid, I'm just telling people, barring injury, because I can't predict health, he will be a star. Give him another year under his belt, but he's definitely going to be a high-level rotation player.
Absolutely. I think this year's the year where he jumps from like rotation player to a high-level rotation player.
Yeah.
And I think we start maybe talking about that all-star jump next year. He's so big. He can handle the ball. It just feels like there's not much that he can do. I think the next step in his development is getting other teammates involved. He can handle the ball, but he's got to work on his court vision and playmaking. And if he does that, the sky's the limit. You have the reason to watch the Bulls. It's the reason I'm watching the Bulls.
I agree, Kyle. That's why I watch them. I mean, no hate for Josh Giddey, because I like Josh Giddey, but Giddey might make some highlight passes. He's not going to make a lot of highlight finishes, but I think Buzelis is the only reason to watch the Bulls for sure.
Fair. How about we get some Terrence Mann? It's going to be also in the Nets rotation. I think the best you can do with Mann is rotation player.
I think that's what he is. A solid pro that can give you minutes when called upon, but he's a rotation player.
I hate to do this to myself, but I have to grade Kyle Kuzma next.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna let you. That's all you. That's all you.
The funny part, Mo, is if he plays like he did last year, the best I could do is fringe rotation player. If he plays like he did last year, he might fall to straight up bench warmer. I think he's so volatile in the sense that he could jump back up to being a quality rotation player. But at the same time, he was just so bad last year. And he's been the same player for years in Washington that I don't see him actually being a quality rotation player. So I think he's that guy who's he has to be a rotation player. The Bucks don't have anybody else. So he's going to be one by default. But I think in terms of his impact in playing, he's going to be closer to a fringe rotation player.
Kuzma's bizarre because he came into the NBA not that highly touted. I think he was picked, was it 27th?
27th.
See, I got a good memory. 27th by my Lakers. Not much was really expected of him, and he was like the breakout star of the Summer League. It wasn't Lonzo, it was Kuzma. And yet, I feel like Kuzma, it's weird to say this, Brett, but I feel like he peaked like in his second and third seasons. And he's never been as good as he was in those seasons ever since.
Yeah, he absolutely did. Next year, bald head Kuzma will be up there with Hoodie Mello. I pray. I pray that I'm wrong about Kuzma. He still has the athleticism, and at times he plays that well enough that I can't really put him in bench warmer category.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
He just has so many bad shots. It's terrible shot selection, boneheaded moments that I can't say he's going to be a good rotation player, because I think last year among contending teams, and even just among teams, you can make an argument that he was just the worst role player in the league. that actually, had value. So
I'll say this: if Glenn can get Kuzma back to playing solid basketball, Glenn should get some Coach of the Year love.
oh, absolutely. So he's another guy, by the way. We talked about him last week because I initially had him as a center, but ESPN has him as a forward, and they have Onyeka Okongwu starting. So Kristaps Porzingis, we had him on the center group as a high-level rotation player. I don't see why that would change.
It wouldn't. It wouldn't.
Go Thunder, absolutely, Kerm. Hey, we'll be talking about your Thunder guys soon. We're doing the East right now. We're gonna go grade the West in a little bit here. We just gotta get through these last couple names. Say, rookie. We get to project our rookie. That's always actually fun. Con Knuppel. You know what's funny?
I think the kid's gonna have a good career. I think that guy can play.
Ironically, I think he could very well start out his career as I feel like the safe bet is here, Mo.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't necessarily like to live it safe. I think he's going to be a high-level rotation player his rookie year.
I think we were just talking about Battier, right? He's very much a Battier type of player. He's probably a little bit better shooter than Battier, but he's that type of player. I think Knippel's going to impact winning. I think he's going to be a high-level rotation player.
6'7", elite shooter, playing with. He has a lot of flaws, but one thing that LaMelo Ball can do is he can pass the ball very well, and he has great vision. He's playing off an elite playmaker like LaMelo, and he won't have all the attention on him. We were just talking about how Miles Bridges is still explosive and athletic and can get to the rack. I think he's almost in a perfect position where he's just going to he can have a great impact his rookie year and be a high-level rotation player from the jump. The path is there for him, and I hope he takes it.
I agree. We talk about reasons to watch certain teams. I watch the Hornets because of LaMelo, but if Knippel is the player that I think he's going to be, I'll be watching both of them.
Oh, absolutely. Now, this is my guy. It's still weird to see him in his jersey. Chris Middleton. I think the best you could. So here's the thing, right, Mo? Chris Middleton in Washington's might just be a rotation player. You put him on a contender, he might lock in more, become a high-level rotation player again. But after all the injuries, I'm not sure if he'll be more than a rotation player as long as he's in Washington.
Yeah, look, I'm the kind of guy that when a guy's been really good for a long time, like Chris Middleton, he's a little bit older, I want him to go play for a contender. I want him to finish his career on a contender. I mean, ideally, it'd be great if he would go back to Milwaukee, but if he's not going to go back there, then because I think he can help a contender in a different role. I still think there's productive basketball in Chris Middleton. So I'm with you. Currently, if he's going to be on the Wizards, then I would keep him as a road. He's definitely better than Kuzma. And I've been telling people that even when they made the deal, that even this version of Chris Middleton is still way better than Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah, I told people that too, and I got called an idiot. Like, well, Kuzma has they're like, oh, Middleton has 2 bad ankles. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, rather have Middleton on 2 bad ankles than Kuzma on 2 good ones. So,
agreed.
Say, here we go. Mo, this is somebody we're both very high on. Jalen Johnson.
Yeah.
I think this is the year, Mo.
All-star.
Strong all-star Jalen Johnson.
Again, you and I preface our picks with barring major injury, means that he might have nagging injury or whatever, but barring a major injury, Jalen Johnson is going to make the all-star team.
Yeah, and obviously when we put somebody in an all-star caliber player, it isn't a lock they're going to make the all-star team. We just think they're going to play at the level of the actual all-star caliber player. So
that's fair.
I think Jalen Johnson will absolutely do that. He's like I said, I think he can give this team a solid 20 points, like 8 boards. Last year before the injury, he was averaging 20 and 10 from the small forward position. So, and he's a great, good defender. He's got a lot of length. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the next step in his development is.
You know what Jalen Johnson is? The funny thing is, Brett, because they had both players. Jalen Johnson is who the Hawks thought John Collins was.
Yeah. No, absolutely. You know, Mo, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to go bold on Pascal and put him on the fringe All NBA territory.
You can put him on there because would it stun me if Pascal Siakam made second or third team All NBA? Not at all.
I'll say he doesn't have Hallie setting him up, but he will have a lot more shots, and that Pacers offense still free flowing. I think Nemhard could still set him up good enough that
I keep telling people Boston and Indiana are going to both be a lot better than people think they're going to be.
Yeah, say how about Brandon Ingram? Like, is he fringe all-star?
Nah. Look, I'm calling it. And I hate to say this because I love his talent and his skill set. BI is never going to make another all-star team. I'm calling it. He can be a high-level rotation player. I think BI can help you win in a different role. Where he's at right now, though, I don't think it's going to work out so well. But that's a whole nother story.
I think I think it's just an awkward fit. You just have a lot of guys that can shoot, so it's going to come down to BI taking a lot of tough middies, and I'm not sure how well that goes. So here we go. I think we could both agree that Giannis just straight to MVP tier,
straight there with a bullet, with the quickness. Yeah, no doubt.
Oh, fair enough. Here we go. Franz Wagner.
I like this. I like this guy's game. I like his game. Every now and then you get a teammate that's a perfect complement to the guy who might be the bigger star. The way Jaylen Brown is to Tatum, I think Franz is to Paolo. I think he's perfect. It wouldn't stun me if Franz is a fringe all-star. I think that much of him.
It wouldn't surprise me if he played at the level of an actual all-star. Like, I watched him play when Paulo was out, and he's just such a good – he's a great passer for being a forward. He's good at attacking the rim. Like, I wouldn't be – like, I think he's for sure going to be a fringe all-star. I wouldn't be shocked if he ended up in the all-star conversation.
No, I wouldn't be shocked at all. You remember that run when Paolo was out and Franz was just dropping 35, 40-point games in a row? Like, one of those games, he hits the game winner against the Lakers. He gave the Lakers that work the whole game. I think people underestimate how athletic he is and how quick he is.
No, absolutely. This guy had to put a picture of that monster dunk he had in Summer League. VJ Edgecombe.
So talented, so athletic. But he is a rookie, so I can't leap. I'm not going to make the leap and say he's going to be an all-star or fringe all-star, but I think he'll be a high rotation player. I think he will help impact games. He's certainly going to be one of those guys that'll have some nights here and there where he drops 28 or 30. But I think if you're going to ask me what he's going to average on the season, probably 15, 16 points a game, somewhere in there.
No, absolutely. By the way, I do love how our tier list is shaping out because I love how bold we're getting on some of these. Like, I feel like a lot of people would have guys like Con Knuppel and Jalen Johnson lower, but you know what? We're here to be a little bold. We're here to make some fun predictions that are rooted in reality. So
for sure.
DeAndre Hunter, interesting. Another guy who struggles to stay healthy, but when he's on the court, he's a good player.
Very good basketball player on both ends of the floor. Certainly, I don't think he's a fringe all-star, but he's definitely, again, another guy that's a high rotation player. On that team, though, think about the way that team's built. He can be, I guess at best, he could be a six-man of the year candidate like he was last year.
No, absolutely. And honestly, this is kind of how I figured, because it feels like the forward depth in this league, especially among the starting forwards, is pretty wild. So it doesn't surprise me that there's a lot of high-level rotation players among the forwards, because that's a very talented group of guys.
I agree.
And we're adding another one in Jaylen Brown. I think the conversation with him starts here at All-Star.
He's definitely that.
The real question is, how high are you on him being the guy this year without Tatum involved. Personally, Mo, I might just keep him at All-Star.
I have him at All-Star. But would it surprise me in the end if he made third team All NBA? I think he has the potential to do that because I think the Celtics might have a better season as a team more than most people predict them to have. And if Jaylen Brown's the leading scorer, let's say he's averaging, I don't know, 24 a game, 24, 5 and 5 or something like that. Yeah, I think he's going to end up having a shot to make third team All NBA. But I'm 100% comfortable if we're starting him out at All-Star.
No, fair enough. Like, the thing with that kind of worries me about Jaylen Brown is it feels like that there's just not a lot of diversity with his offensive game, and he isn't necessarily a great passer to make up for that. His offensive game relies a lot on him just elevating over defenders and shooting over them. And it just doesn't seem like it's going to translate to a very high level of efficiency as the number one option. I think playing off of Tatum, it was perfect because Tatum would draw the attention. I guess I'm not sold on how Jaylen Brown is going to handle all the extra attention the defense is going to roll his way.
That's fair. I think that is a big question mark coming into the year, but that's why you have guys like Derek White to kind of alleviate some of that pressure off of him. Or I think that Jaylen Brown's got to learn how to play more off the ball this season. It can't just be, let me ISO myself and create for myself. Like, come off a pin down, get in the post. I think he's got to find different ways to score just because he's going to be the focal point this year, and he needs to be more versatile in what he can do.
Oh, absolutely. Say, you got Balil Killabuddy. I think he's just a rotation player. I think he has the potential to be a high-level rotation player, but I don't think he's there yet in his development.
Nah, I'm actually high on this kid, but I think right now he's a rotation player. It's weird because he started out last year on fire, and he looked like he had taken that big leap, and he hit a wall, and he kind of took a step back. I don't know how much of him you've seen. I've seen a lot. Incredibly athletic, but I just think that he can drift sometimes right in the middle of games. He's got to learn how to be consistent. If I was going to say what I think he can be when it's all said and done, I think he's going to be a terrific 3-and-D guy when it's all said and done. But right now, I would keep him as a rotation player.
Oh, fair enough. This guy, Paulo Banchero, I made the prediction that he's going to be the MVP of the league this year.
You did say that. I think he's certainly going to be a candidate, so I would have him a notch below Giannis, but he's terrific.
Absolutely. I think it's one of those situations where he's not going to be the best player in the East. I still think that's going to be Giannis, but I think the Magic are just going to be much improved, and he is going to have he's going to be on the All-NBA first team this year is part of my prediction, and the Magic are going to have the best record in the East. It's a double-edged prediction, so I think it's going to be one of those situations where he clearly is one of the five. He was one of the 5 best players in the league, and he was the best player on the best team in the East and one of the best teams in the NBA. So I think the voters will eat that up, and I think Paulo Banchero brings home his first MVP.
If you're right, he will be the MVP. If the Magic have the best record in the East, let's say they win, 58 games or 60 games, he's going to be the best player on the best team, probably averaging anywhere between 26, 28 points. Yeah, if it pans out the way you predicted, yeah, I think he will end up winning his first, and you're right, because he's not going to stop at 1. It'll be his first MVP. I'm going to be a little bit more conventional. I don't know what the Bucks record is going to be, but I'll say that I'm going to say this. I think the Bucks win more than 50 games, and I think Giannis has a career year. I think Giannis, I'm picking him to be my MVP.
That's fair enough. My challenge with the Bucks is more so about the supporting cast, to be honest. I'm not sure if it's a 55 win, supporting cast, or even maybe not even a 50 win. Maybe if they 48 and 34 might be a more realistic prediction for the Bucks. I think Giannis will absolutely be in the conversation, and he might be so dominant that he just gets it. I would not doubt him at this point. Say, we know he's going to put up some massive numbers.
For sure.
How about Bam Adebayo?
Bam's a really good player. He's an all-star. I think that's all he is. And somebody will disagree and go, well, Bam, yeah, Bam, I think Bam's versatile. He can give you 18 points a game, 9 or 10 boards, 4 or 5 assists. He's a really good basketball player. But Miami's not going to be that good a team, right? Like, they're not going to be that good a team. So I think Bam makes the all-star team. I don't think it's a lock that he makes any of the all-NBA teams.
Fair enough. And you know what? Being an all-star like Bam, that isn't a bad gig to have.
No, it's not.
Say, Ayo Dosunmu, is he a rotation player or a high-level rotation player?
I think he's a rotation player.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking for him. And the last guy, Andrew Wiggins, I feel like he's going to be a high.
Isn't that weird? Because when Wiggins first came out, the complaint was he didn't have a high motor. He didn't work hard enough. I think Wiggins has kind of turned his career around. Not that he became a star, but he definitely is a high-level rotation player. And there are times where he can play at an all-star level. So I like that. I like that. I like having him at a high-level rotation player.
No, absolutely. So there's our tier list for the East. I'm actually going to save it real quick. So okay, there we go. Perfect. Alrighty, awesome. So now I'll just hop over to the West real quick. This one made it nice and easy because this one got him lined up right in the order of a team here. So we'll pretty much just be doing teammates right off the bat.
That works for me.
So it's going to start, why don't we start from this side this time with Aaron Gordon.
He
definitely starts here.
Yeah. At worst, I think at worst he's a high-level rotation player, but he's like a fringe all-star, right? Kind of.
Yeah, I think he could have the impact of a fringe all-star.
Yeah, he's certainly more than I feel like he's more than a high-level rotation player. You think about what he does playing alongside Jokic.
Oh, fair enough. How about, and I think they have I think they have the high-level rotation player they need in Cam Johnson. I think he'll be absolutely that.
Cam is going to give them another element. I think he's a much better defender than Porter Jr. Shooting-wise, Porter Jr. might still be a better shooter. I think Cam's a better basketball player.
I agree with that. Like, I think they lose pure shooting and some defensive rebounding when Porter left, but they just got a better all-around player in Cam Johnson. So I think it'll work out in the end for them. Let's see, how about in Salt Lake, Mo? We got Ace Bailey. He'll have the volume to be a high-level rotation player, but
yeah,
will he play like one?
Yeah, I'm
not sold on him being a high-level rotation player.
Yeah, I'm just going to say he's a rotation player because he's going to have those rookie woes playing in Utah. He's, like you said, he'll have the opportunities, but what is he going to shoot? He's going to shoot 40% from the field or lower. I don't know. I think with him, it's going to be a development process throughout the season. We'll see. But I don't want to jump the gun on him because this is his rookie year, and we'll just see what he can have. Remember, he's already started off the wrong way. He didn't want to be there, so we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. But I'll start him as a rotation player because I can't predict stardom. I can't do that.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And starting as a rotation player as a rookie obviously isn't bad. We've seen a lot of greats do it. We've seen a lot of greats start as bench warmers as a rookie.
For sure.
So I'm not concerned that he starts there. I just want to see how he progresses throughout the season, and that's all that really matters for rookies. How
I
about
agree.
Laurie Markkinen?
Markkinen's a tough one because he's
Like-
certainly more than a high level rotation player. He everything about his talent and skill set says he should be an all-star, right? That's what it says. And yet I don't know. I feel like Markkinen is one of those kind of guys that if he's your best player, I don't know that he impacts winning as your best player. So he, again, more than a rotation player, more than a high level rotation player. I guess he's a fringe all-star, right?
He's interesting in the sense that I agree, but like last year it might have just been an outlier, but I think last year he just got so checked out that it kind of distorted my view of him. Like he just seemed like he didn't care last year. So I'm like, how do I even grade it? Like, will he care this year? Because like the version last year was like closer to a high level rotation player or just a rotation player. But if he comes in, locks in, remotivated, no doubt, fringe all-star. And I think he will. I think he just had a down year last year. So how about the bookends from Portland? First, we got Toonami Cameron. So good.
I think we have to treat him the way we would treat Asur Thompson, right? I think he'd have to be like a high-level rotation player because he's an elite defender, but he still needs some work on the offensive side of the floor. But yeah, I think, and he's still developing. That's the beauty of this kid. He seems like the kind of guy that's going to be a gym rat, so he will come back a little bit better. I'll definitely be watching him.
Absolutely. He was so good that he was already making all defensive teams this past year.
Right.
And the biggest thing for him is 37% from three. Like he's above average from three. He's in that good territory. But I don't think there's enough on-ball creation or anything like that for me to think he's going to be more than a 3-and-D player.
Right.
Which, that's fine. It's a good problem to have because I think they might have a possible either. This is a guy, Denny Advia, who's either a rotation player or high-level rotation player, but he's floating close to high-level rotation player. Just a very talented individual.
Incredibly skilled, too. I don't know where to rank him, so I have to assume at a minimum he's a high-level rotation player because he's incredibly skilled.
Yeah, I think that Portland could surprise a lot of people. They're a team that I think that they have the perfect balance of they're going to have between Drew Holiday, Denny Advia, Cameron, and Donovan Clingan. Like, I don't know where the buckets are coming from. I think that's going to be their Achilles heel, but that might be one of the better defenses in the league. Like, they might be able to win enough games to make a scare for the play-in just off the fact that they're young, they're athletic, and they're tough. There's not really a weak point where you can beat one-on-one unless you're going to sit there picking on Scoot Henderson on all game. And even then, Clingan's just was such an awesome rim protector for them last year. So this could be a very, like, scary team that you don't want to see defensively.
No, I agree. Look, I think what Coach Billups and his staff has done with that young core, and now they brought in a couple of veterans that I think will have an impact on them. They're one player away from being a playoff contender, in my opinion. And I mean, like, and when I say one player, that one guy that on a consistent night in and night out basis can drop 25 a night. Obviously, if Damian Lillard was healthy, he would be that guy, but we don't really know when he's going to be back.
Yeah, that's what I think plagues him this year. If Dame could come back even at like 80% of what he was before, then I think this could very well be at least a play-in team, maybe like a fringe playoff team. But yeah, I think they'll be a fun watch if you really like defense, and this is a team that could very well run in transition quite a bit. How about the Spurs young duo? Well, young in the sense they have Devin Vassell. Harrison Barnes, not so much. But why don't we start with Devin Vassell? He's a very talented player, but there's a lot of mouths to feed. His calling card, he was a very good offensive player, but with as many weapons as they have, he might not be getting a lot of touches. So is he still like a high level rotation player, or is he just a rotation player?
That's an interesting question because with Harper being there, with the young man, what's his name? Castle just won Rookie of the Year. Wemby's going to be back. De'Aaron Fox will eventually be back. There's a lot of guys that can shoot the rock. There's only one basketball. So I'm gonna say Vassell's gonna be a really good rotation player, not high level. I'll say rotation player.
Fair enough. And I guess the next question is Harrison Barnes. He's interesting in the sense that last year I think he was a fine rotation player for the Spurs, but the year before that he was like a fringe rotation player. He was very bad for the Kings the year before. So I guess the real question is, do you believe in like the little mini renaissance that he had last year, and does he stay that, that solid rotation player, or does he finally regress to like maybe starting to become somewhat unplayable?
I think he's going to be a solid rotation player. I think that's who he is. I think that's who's been most of his career. So this is the 31-year-old Harrison Barnes, and look, I think he's found his NBA home, or his second home anyway, with the Spurs, and I think they need that vet presence. He matters. So I'll say good rotation player still.
Fair enough. I completely agree. Draymond Green, so he's another guy that got bumped over to this list with the signing of Al Horford, since Al's now their starting center.
Right.
And we had him as an all-star on the center list, and I don't see why that would change.
I think I'll leave him there. I think he's an all-star. Now we're agreeing that he'll play at an all-star like level. I can't control if he gets selected, but I couldn't see if the Warriors have the season I think they're going to have, which will be pretty good. I can't see why he wouldn't make it, but we'll see.
Absolutely. Like I said, that's all we're saying when we say somebody's an all-star caliber player. We're not saying they're going to make the team. You just think they're going to play at a level where they'll be just as good as the guys who do make the team, or they'll make the team. So,
yeah.
Jimmy Butler. I guess the conversation with him, is he going to be fringe all NBA? Is he going to be an all-star? Like, I guess, where do you think Jimmy is? Do you think he could sneak into some all NBA talks this year?
I don't. I think Jimmy's an all-star. And that's not a slap in the face. We still are talking about a 35, 36-year-old Jimmy Butler who historically, what does he play, about 65 games or 60 games a year? Like, you got to play at least 65 to make anything. I would take the under that Jimmy plays more than 65 games.
No, absolutely. And like I said, it's not a bad thing, especially when we're talking about the Warriors, because to me, you have two all-star caliber players. And Jimmy is a guy who can still play at like that all-NBA category in spurts.
Especially the playoffs. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and when you have like somebody who can still take over the game, but probably throughout most of the season is going to conserve his energy for the end, kind of pushing him closer to an all-star category, and a high-level rotation player like Big Al Horford in there too.
Right.
The Warriors, if they make it to the postseason healthy, they're going to be an annoying out. Say, this guy, Mo, to me, Kevin Durant, we all know the conversation with him. Do we think he has another strong all-NBA year where he is no doubt about it, one of the 15 best players in the league? Or does he regress a little bit, starts, getting munched into the conversation behind that one?
This is what I'll say with Durant. This could be the year where he shows some regression, but I think his high is so high that what's the regression, that he's third team All-NBA? Like, I still think he's going to make an All-NBA team.
And I agree with that. I just like to try to make it a little interesting. Say, how about his running mate, Jabari Smith? I think the conversation with him starts at high-level rotation player.
And I think that's where he's going to stay. Because when you have on the other guys on the perimeter like Durant and Amen, I think Jabari Smith. It's funny because in a lot of ways he could be very similar to Cam Johnson. That's kind of the way he seems to be developing, and that's not bad at all.
Say no, absolutely. Here's a fun one, Mo. Chet. Say Chet Holmgren. Now, defense, DPOY candidate, no doubt about it.
For sure.
Offense, that's where the questions come with Chet. His offensive game is still a work in progress, but even then, he's still an elite floor spacer from three. Honestly, I think I like Chet in like a fringe All NBA category. I think this year his offensive game it takes another leap. This year, maybe this is the year where he kind of starts to bully some more mismatches and becomes a better passer. So,
I don't disagree with that take. I think that Chet is he's so talented, especially on both ends of the floor. And the fact that he can extend defenses and other bigs with his range, it makes him invaluable. And the only thing that's missing from his resume is that he struggles to stay healthy. But I do think this year he's going to be an all-star. I don't know if it's going to elevate him to one of the all-NBA teams, but if they win another 60 games and he's one of the three best players on that team, which he will be, I don't know how you keep him off the all-NBA team.
and that's almost why I like him here. It's just his defense gives him such a high floor that as long as he comes in, even if he just knocks down some threes and is able to bully a mismatch occasionally, it feels like that alone is just all NBA. And it all comes from the fact that his defense is just so elite. And everything else just kind of follows after that. And I guess, so say, do you want to keep him in fringe? I'll let you make the final call. You think we should keep him in fringe all NBA or bump him down to all-star?
I think we should keep him at fringe all NBA.
And I think a fun question, Mo, will his teammate J-Dub join him?
Oh, I'm more confident in J-Dub than I am Chet. I don't agree a lot with ESPN's top 100. I might be in the minority. I actually think them ranking J-Dub 11th, I think that's right. We've seen this formula before. The young guy comes in, develops under the established star, becomes the star's sidekick. They win a title. Jalen Williams just had career highs across the board last year in every category, in terms of points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, you name it. I really think he's only going to get better. We talk about guys that are elite defenders. This guy's also an elite defender. He's not just a bucket getter. He made all NBA defense. He's got a 7-foot wingspan. He's insane. I think he's going to be. I don't know how long him and Shai's partnership lasts. I hope it lasts long enough to where they can win another title or whatever. But don't be shocked if at some point he's not the best player somewhere else.
So if you think that the ESPN's ranking that the 11th best player in the league is accurate, I'd put him right here, right next to KD in strong all NBA category.
You can put him there. Now, they do it in a different way, obviously, because he's not the best player on his current team. But like James Harden, you can make the argument maybe his current team is holding him back. I think he's that talented. I do. And I think that he makes Shai's life easier.
Yeah, and the fact that he was still doing everything that he was doing in the playoffs with torn ligaments in his wrist, like, when he comes back healthy, it's going to be terrifying. How about Jaren Jackson Jr.? I think the conversation probably starts and ends at All-Star.
I'm going to keep him at All-Star. But he's versatile, two-way player. I guess the question is, though, we talk about what your team is going to do. I have no idea what Memphis is going to be. what they were last year is kind of like what I expected them to be, and they just lost Desmond Bain. I don't know how you get better from losing Desmond Bain. So I think Jaren Jackson will be an all-star, but I don't think he makes any of the all-NBA teams. I agree.
He was interesting in the sense that he played I think he's going to regress a little from last year. Because last year he played that first half so well that I thought he could make an all-NBA team last year, but then kind of, fell off in the second half of the year. So I still think he's going to play well enough to be a strong player who will be considered for an all-star team. But, yeah, I'm not sure about all-NBA this year. I don't think that happens again. How about Jalen Wells? After this nice run of all-stars, fringe all-NBAs, this might be our first run back down to rotation player real quick.
Yeah, he's definitely a rotation. Again, this is not a slight at Jalen Wells and where he's at in his career, but right now, today, he's a rotation player.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And I think this year, nothing changes in that regard. I think he's talented. I think he's a perfect connecting piece for that team. And I think he's in a good role in Memphis. Let's see. This is a fun one. How about Keegan Murray? High-level rotation player? I think that's about right for Keegan.
I think that's where he is. Keegan is a good, not a great, but he's a good defender, a capable three-point shooter. He can be a little bit streaky from there, but I think that's what Keegan is. I think Keegan's a high-level rotation player.
No, fair enough. How about DeMar DeRozan? He's still maybe like a fringe all NBA caliber player.
Nah.
I meant all-star. I meant all-star. My bad.
Yes. I think that's what DeMar is. He's a fringe. I don't know if his teammate is in there anywhere. I assume that they have Levine as a guard. So
yeah.
But I think DeRozan that's what he is. He's a fringe all-star.
Hey, fair enough. How about Tree Man himself, Kawhi Leonard?
He's
healthy.
up. He's really If he's healthy, he's an all NBA player. He's gonna make an all NBA team. I don't know. I think he's an all NBA player if he's healthy.
That's fair. He's so tough because when he plays, he's an all NBA player. And you know what? That is the spirit of this tier list. What do we think they're going to be? And I think that he still has an all NBA year left in him.
Yeah, I think he's all NBA. I think he will make one. It might be third team, but he's going to make one of the teams.
Honestly, I feel like regression has to hit a little. It might hit a little bit this year. I might be tempted to move him into fringe all NBA.
You know what? Let's put him at fringe all NBA because that's something that we have to factor in. Not just the individual player, but the system and the players they play with. He's playing on arguably the oldest team in basketball. That's going to impact him as well. So yeah, I'll say fringe all NBA, not a lock.
No, absolutely. How about John Collins? I think last year for Utah, he was a high-level rotation player.
Yeah, and I think that's what he is. I think that John Collins could be a really good high-level rotation player.
Here's the guy in Jaden McDaniels that for sure is a high-level rotation player.
At least, right.
The real question, do you think Jaden McDaniels has enough of an impact that he can sneak into a fringe all-star conversation? Maybe we can say he's as good as Aaron Gordon or DeMar DeRozan.
I guess the problem with Jaden is this. He showed in the postseason he's capable of being a bigger scorer than he was in the regular season. And what I hope is he can take that momentum and it carries him into this regular season. Because really, if Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle and company are going to make a deep playoff run, or even a monster playoff run and get out of the West, they didn't make any monstrous moves, which means you have to get better from within. And the first guy I'm thinking of is McDaniels. So if McDaniels elevates and becomes a fringe all-star, they're going to win 50-plus games and probably be in the Western Conference Finals again. So I'm going to say he's a fringe all-star.
I like it. I like it. I love it when we go a little bolder. And I guess, do we think Julius Randle is on that same level, or maybe does he play at the level of an all-star?
He really look. We can be critical of different players at different times. I think Julius Randle is a solid all-star.
Hey, you know what? I like it. I like it, and I think he should prove that last year. He deserves the benefit of the doubt after what he did for that team last year.
He did. He really did impress me, especially in the postseason. Yeah.
I feel like we could very well go back-to-back rotation player here. Dylan Brooks and Royce O'Neal.
Yeah, those are both rotation players. Now you could say you could argue that Dylan Brooks could be a high-level one, but they're definitely rotation players.
Yeah, I don't think Dylan Brooks is going to have that high-level impact in Phoenix. So,
that's right. You know what? I totally forgot. In Phoenix, won't be the same. No, they're rotation players. They're both rotation players.
Oh, fair enough. How about we start with Rui Hachimura from the Lakers duo here? You think he gets the high-level rotation player?
Nah, I think Rui's just a rotation player. I shouldn't say just, but that's what he is.
All right. And, of course, LeBron James.
We talk about regression. I'll buy into regression, but with him, regression is going to be what? He's going to make third team All NBA again. Like, he's going to still be, until somebody shows me, he's going to be an All NBA caliber player.
No, absolutely. And Mo, I think these last four are actually a ton of fun. I'm glad we're ending on these four. Zion.
New look Zion. Honestly, I don't know how to rank skinny Zion, because I knew that the heavier set Zion, when he was healthy, he was a fringe All NBA player. I don't know skinny Zion. I know he's healthier, but I don't know if it makes him a better basketball player. I think because it is Zion and the talent that he has, you have to at minimum start him off at All-Star, right? Like, you have to assume he's at least that. Do you think he's a fringe All NBA player, or is he just an All Star?
I don't think he's in any All NBA talks.
Okay, I agree.
The thing with his offense is he'll probably be fine. In fact, that's probably what's going to benefit the most from him losing weight and getting into better shape. But he has to show me something on defense. He has all the athletic tools to be great at that end. Right. But if it's not like weak side, rim protection, and help side, like, he just doesn't move the needle for me. Now this guy, though, Herb Jones, he's at least high-level rotation player, but do we think he can have the impact of a fringe all-star, maybe?
I think he's just a high-level rotation player. I think he's really good. But his teammate, I'm just saying, his teammate, or didn't have his teammate.
Oh no, they have Trey they have him mixed in with the guards.
Really, Trey's? That's weird because Trey's physically bigger than Herb Jones. That's weird, but okay.
Yeah, it is. It really is weird. I think having Zion, Trey, and Herb just is awkward because all three of them are really like forwards. But if you want to start all three of them, then one of them kind of has to be the guard. And yeah, ESPN listed. They decided to list Trey as the guard. I'm like, oh, okay, we can group him in there, I guess.
I have no problem with that. He's the best shooter of the three, so I get that.
Oh, absolutely. Now, Anthony Davis, conversation starts for me at fringe All NBA.
I agree. I think no, go ahead.
And I think it ends there too. I just don't see him being a solid All NBA caliber player. He could be it. I think he has that potential, but
remember what the goal is, though. You got to play 65 games, right? To be, and so this isn't about AD's talent. And look, I think at this point in his career, it's more about trying to win than individual accolades. So I'm with you. I think Anthony Davis at this stage of his career is a fringe All NBA player.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Cooper Flag.
So I don't want to be cocky. I don't. But we acknowledge guys who are talented. This kid is more than a high-level rotation player. I think he's more than what's the next step? I think it's fringe all-star.
Yep.
I'm going to say Cooper Flagg's at least an all-star in his rookie year.
Clear cut all-star. I like it.
I know that's a wild, but I'm gonna go there.
And you know what? I think this is accurate in the sense where in the West, I don't think there are any true like MVP candidates unless if somebody really emerges. So I think the grouping is just very accurate. And I love the idea of Cooper Flagg coming in his first year and being an all-star.
Just for the record, if you're as big of fans, guys, and I know Kyle, you are, we want the younger guys to come in and have immediate impact like that because you know how this goes. The old guard moves on. You got to have that next wave coming in. I want Cooper Flagg to be every bit as good as advertised.
I do too. That would make for some great hoops. I love to see it. Yeah, that's our tier list for the all NBA teams for the West and the East. So I think we did pretty good. I think we did good.
I think we made some bold choices, partner, that I get it. More than a few of you will disagree with us. But the beauty of this and the beauty of M1 is we save our picks so that later down the line over the course or during the course of the season, we can come back, revisit, and have these conversations all over again.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of it. We always like to be bold, but bold within reason. And I think we kind of nailed that. Guys like Jalen Johnson playing with Trae Young could very well play at the talent of an all-star.
Man, Jalen Johnson. Woo. Woo.
You're going to see another guy, I think, when we do rank the next grouping of players that ESPN has from the Pelicans, ironically, in Trey
Murphy. That's my guy.
I think that he could very well be in the all-star conversation. The Pelicans feel like they have just too much talent to fail, but I feel like we also say that every year about them.
They see on paper, Brett, every year, don't they start off looking loaded on paper? They look loaded. And then by the end of the year, everybody's in street clothes.
Yeah, I think the guy, ironically, that worries me the most on the Pelicans, outside of, maybe Zion, obviously his health, but I want to see some sort of bounce back from DeJounte Murray, and he's got to prove he can play off the ball. Otherwise, that might be the weak link. Because I think DeJounte still has talent, but it might just be a little bit of an awkward fit if he's trying to dominate the ball and Zion's trying to dominate the ball.
I agree.
So I think when we watch the Pelicans this year, he's the guy I'm going to be keeping an eye on because I think he'll be the X factor on if this group works or not.
I agree. I think DeJounte Murray, I think he needs to get back to his roots to where he was trying to establish himself. Get back to being that elite defender. Get back to being an elite defender and a good facilitator, and don't worry about buckets. Because if you look at Zion and Trey Murphy and Herb Jones, and I believe CJ's still there. Is CJ still there?
No, he got traded to Washington.
Oh, what did he do wrong in life? But no, I'm kidding. But my point is, you guys have plenty of guys that can put the ball in the bucket. You don't need to worry about scoring, DeJounte. Just get back to playing defense and facilitating.
Yeah, that was the CJ McCollum for Jordan Poole swap.
Brutal.
And Sadiq Bey also went to the Pelicans. Hey,
wait a minute. See, that's the trade I forgot. So Poole is in the Pelicans, right?
Yeah.
All the more reason. Whatever you say about Jordan Poole, the one thing the guy could do, put the ball in the basket. They have plenty of scorers. They need DeJounte to do the little things.
Yeah, and if not, if he doesn't do the little things for them, he's a guy that I could very well see them trading just to find more cohesion and chemistry.
I agree. Man, if Trey Murphy has the kind of year that I think Jalen Johnson's going to have in the East, it's going to be a really fun season.
I think it's going to be a great season. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of, great breakout candidates. I think, obviously next week we'll do the same thing. We'll rank the guards and we'll see how we think they're going to do. And then a week before basketball season, I think that's going to be a ton of fun. Because, we'll have that's when we'll, maybe try to predict some early season award winners.
Oh, that'll be fine.
Early season MVP candidates, some breakout stars. that 2 weeks from now, right before the season starts, that will almost just be like the episode for predicting and
like
just
that.
having a lot of fun.
I'm here for it, guys. I appreciate you guys up in the chat. Appreciate you guys coming out.
No, absolutely. We thank you guys for tuning in. Check us out next week when we tier list centers. Check Mo and I out tomorrow morning when we do the morning show. It's gonna be a great double, and of course, check us out on Tuesday when we do the Meaty Boys podcast and we talk about some wrestling. There's definitely a lot to talk about, but until then, guys, we thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow morning.
Thank you for tuning in to the And One podcast. If you like our content, you can find more on the Wire to Wire Podcast Network on YouTube, Facebook, and Spotify. Want more And One? Find it on Wire to Wire. Like and share our Facebook page and join the And One Discord. Grab the link to join from our Facebook. Thank you for tuning in and have a wonderful day.